Okay, today we've got something a little different. We'll be talking about someone that I've been really into. I don't want to say that because then you guys are going to think a little less of me. Someone that has been fascinating me since I found out about him. I don't remember how I found out about him, but it's a hell of a guy, a real stand-up guy. His name is GG Allin, and if you've never heard of him, you're about to be sorry that you have. Big part of GG Allin, he kind of came out of the punk rock scene, and this is just a brief history. You can look more into him, but GG Allin is possibly the most shocking artist I've ever come across, and as someone that's really into like alternative and shock music, like he's someone that I feel like should be more in the public eye and people should know about him more. And you'd think like less edgy artists would be more inspired by him, but you always hear people talk about Marilyn Manson and, you know, Alice Cooper and stuff like that as big shocking guys, like, oh, all the crazy stuff they did on stage. Well, let's talk about, you know, coprophagia, which, sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, but it's not a word that I talk about very often, which is eating feces on stage as a part of his act, his own feces. So, definitely not someone you'd want to take your mom to the show, or definitely an 18 and up crowd, maybe a 21 plus for this guy. He has hits such as Bite It, You Scum, and Drink, Fight, and another F word that I say a lot on stream but won't be saying right now. Often hurt himself on stage, beat himself up, beat up people in the crowd, got into the crowd, you know, defecated on stage, then would pick it up, eat it, and also throw it and rub it on people. So the reason I'm kind of talking about this is it's kind of like, is this art? And I would say that most people, and including myself, would say that yes, it is art, but at the same time, like, would you call GG Allin an artist is the question. We're kind of going to be going over a video today that I've always loved watching, and me and my friends have always kind of liked from GG Allin, and that is a video of him kind of midway in like kind of a midpoint in his career. Not early in his career, not later in his career when he's kind of doing the talk shows. He's kind of in a weird phase right now. He's basically he would have little writings and stuff like, you know, like any other philosopher would, and he would sell them. So, you know, that and his music was, and from the support of others, the only way he would be able to survive, because, you know, he lived a very modest life, you know, went town to town, didn't have a lot of possessions. Everything he owned, he could carry with him. Very modest, humble lifestyle. Didn't want a lot of possessions. He had to eat, you know, and he had to buy drugs. So he would go out and do whatever he could for money. Well, he got a deal to do a book reading at a Boston spot at a bookstore. So he's basically doing one of those things that you see other authors do all the time, but his, you know, and they probably thought he would tone it down a little bit for that, but his reputation does precede him, and I can't believe they agreed to it. So this guy I'm talking about is no Diogenes or anything like that. He's definitely someone, if you don't know about, you should know about, and let's take a look.
I hear laughter. First thing we gotta make clear, this f***ing article right here.
So let's bring up something about GG that he always tries to do. So a big thing with GG is he always said that he was gonna kill himself. As being a shock guy, he killing himself was a part of his act. He was gonna do it on Halloween, and he always said for many years that he was gonna do it on certain Halloweens, but he never ended up doing it. He did end up killing himself, but not on purpose. I know, he's just such a ridiculous guy.
It's a bunch of shit here about me.
I found this kind of hard to watch with how much cussing there was in there, and I don't know if the algorithm will like it very much, so I I have censored a lot of this, so, and I just kind of found the first kind of sound I could find to censor it, so that's why you have that horn going on. So a lot of different cuss words in here, and it was actually a very long process to edit it all together.
Look at that f***ing laugh box.
Yeah, someone in the crowd has some kind of like box that when you hit the button it laughs, and GG's not too into it. He wants kind of all the attention on himself and doesn't want to be a laughing stock, but you can tell by the kind of build up and the reaction. He's about to like walk through the crowd. You could tell by the like kind of murmurs coming from the crowd that they are worried about what he's going to do when, like, no one wants to get that close to GG. Remember when you could still smoke inside? Also, this video was shot a long time ago, probably on a handheld camcorder back, this is like 1989, I think this video was. So, sorry about the quality, but it was a different time.
Somebody got a laughing problem? Got a laughing problem, motherfucker?
So he fixed the laugh box problem, I feel.
I ain't got a laughing problem.
That's a good way to make sure like all the attention is on you, Smash a bottle of Jim Beam on your head. At this point, GG probably feels no pain at all. Probably in a deep alcoholic state where he's invincible like a Superman-esque.
If you want to laugh, I can leave and you can laugh at the next two people or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to be laughed at.
I want to know like who scheduled acts after GG. Like who thought this guy that eats shit on stage and throws it at people while being naked was someone that you want to, who would follow that? How do you either have to do the same thing or, there's got to be a pretty hefty cleanup process. Like what were they thinking scheduling two people after him? Back to the article.
Saying that I was crying wolf and I was going out with some named Lisa Suckdog.
Should I have censored Lisa Suckdog? Like, is that a real name?
Anybody here know this girl?
Just like a genuine question.
Somebody in here knows this girl. I know they do. Liars.
Yeah, there was like a lot in a row right there. That's why I had to switch up the kind of censor noise.
Say right here, it's right in print, in one of your Boston lame magazines. Let me quote you. As to whether GG Allin says he really intends to go through with his suicide plan remains to be seen. What the remains to be seen?
He's supposed to be there just promoting something that he wrote and doing a reading from it. So like, you've seen that at a bookstore before you go in and you do a nice little like excerpt and people come to see it. And then maybe you sign a few copies. That's how it was supposed to go down. But whoever booked it didn't know GG Allin very well, I guess. And he's kind of using it as a platform to get revenge. One, on the city of Boston, and two, whoever wrote that article about him never being able to go through with killing himself. Which everyone just wants to see at this point.
I never cried wolf. I never said in the last 13 years that I was going to kill myself on stage. Never. Never. When I say I'm going to kill myself on October 31st, 1990, I'm going to do it.
So let's just check when GG Allin actually killed himself. So he said October 31st, 1990, he was going to do it. Well, he actually killed himself on accident, remember, from a heroin overdose on, let's take a look. He actually died at the age of 36 on June 28th, 1993, which is, a few years after he said he was definitely going to do it in this little spoken word performance here. Wow, this video is actually in color.
Burn with it, baby. Bull Do what? Kill myself sooner? Because it would have pleased you too much. Come up here. Why don't you come up right up here to the mic and tell me that?
Just throwing, you know, an active fire into the crowd. This is always good. Just inviting the crowd up for, you know, a personal challenge in the middle of your performance is always a good thing.
You want me to? Yeah. Why didn't I kill myself sooner? Why didn't you kill yourself sooner?
Yeah, and this is just, you know, pretty standard GG right here. GG picks a lot of fights, and don't just take this video for it. Make sure you look up all of his videos, any video that has him in it. He tries to pick fights with people, especially in the crowd, and he, you know, 9 times out of 10 loses the fight. Like, he's not a good fighter, but he's good at picking fights.
I killed myself sooner? Do you want me to kill myself sooner? Well, you're gonna have to wait.
I love that line. If you want me to kill myself sooner, you're gonna have to wait.
Take your newspapers. Take whatever you got.
I feel like he's kind of rambling at this point. Maybe he's getting away from, like, what he had prepared. Nothing like a little, you know, post impromptu fight, like beer, just to get those electrolytes back up. He's, you know, he's pretty worn out from being tossed in that corner like that.
But you buy it and read it for yourself. I don't owe you nothing.
That's just good salesmanship, you know? Like, he's got to sell books at the end of the day if he wants to live or buy a new cardboard box to live in. Jim Beam's expensive.
I owe you a thing.
Okay, now he does owe them something. He owes them a new window on that door.
Kill myself.
This is starting to get in kind of Manson-esque. You know, there's people in the crowd that are like, this is art. Like, they're really taking it as art. It's hard to tell in this footage, but he is now cutting himself on the chest with a can, a Budweiser can that he just ripped in half. Not a sponsor. You know, there's people here that are like, is he just a nut? Or is this performance art, you know? He's just ruining some property that's not his. What's new? This is a part where he kind of gets like a Henry Rollins kind of like a spoken word kind of performance.
You can only breathe what you feel inside. I can only feel inside what I feel in my body. If you want to feel what's in my body, you put that with my mind.
And he's like, come on, stage crew, what's wrong with my amp? Oh, it's because I just tossed it on the ground? Maybe that's what's wrong with it.
Is that it? Am I off? Put it out on me. Anybody else? Come on.
I'm not really sure what that lady just did to him right there. I don't know if she poked him with something or what. Everyone's like, all right, done. All right, we're done. We're all right. We can leave.
I want you. It's my amp.
Just a little more, you know, taking some glass from the door that broke and just kind of doing a little number there. I'm probably not going to show that part, but he's doing a little more cutting, a little more banging himself in the head.
Don't need to breathe nothing to you, mother.
Imagine being there, you know, seeing all this.
I owe you nothing. You want to read it? Right here. $2. Read it.
$2 is a pretty good price, you know.
It's going to tell me that Boston ain't lame. You right, Boston's lame, because they won't GG Allin.
So he's mad that they don't book him. Couldn't understand why they wouldn't want to book GG Allin. Maybe it's, you know, because he shits on stage and eats it. At this point, he just kind of goes off on Boston, the state of the Boston scene and Boston journalism in general for, you know, about, you know, give or take like 4 or 5 minutes. It's not as entertaining.
Newspapers. Bull. I'm going to kill myself, and what's the cost? What's anybody going to do about it? I'm going to fuck and I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to do it for every motherfucker.
That poor guy, you know, He's just trying to sit down. That's what you get for sitting front row for one. So you get what you paid for. But he's just trying to sit down. He took his chair.
Do it for me, and I'm gonna do it for every motherfucker.
So now he's got a pretty decent blunt object there.
They come in. What are they gonna tell me that I haven't been through? Where have you been? Years? Where have you years, huh? Like I owe you a respectable reading? If you treat me the way you did for 8 years, don't think I owe you anything. Didn't pay anything, don't deserve anything. Here, have a hand.
And into the crowd goes the chair.
Here, take it back, GG.
At this point, like, you can really tell, like, they're either like, screw you, GG Allin, I'm gonna throw a chair right back at you if you're gonna throw a chair at us. But also they're, either way he's inspiring them. Like, he might not be doing it for the way he thinks he's doing it, but he's inspiring them somehow, and that's what they can take from that. I love that. I really want to know if he stuck around and signed any of those copies for those people. Yeah, just, overall, I feel like GG Allin took himself very seriously. I feel like there were people in the time that took him very seriously, but in all reality nowadays, like, I do not take him very seriously. I do consider him an artist, but man, I feel like most of the stuff he was doing was not from, like, artistic inspiration, but more from, like, just making it up as he goes and just blaming it on art, really. But yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Look into more GG Allin stuff, though, especially the music. I know he's rough around the edges, and I know it's kind of uncharacteristic of my channel for him, but he at the end of the day, he did exist. I don't know why people don't ever bring him up, or he doesn't really seem to have inspired anyone in a big way, but definitely someone worth looking into if you were into any form of alternative music. But thanks again for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
He's got it. Stick around.
Come down to the